It's been 2 months since a Douglas County Sheriff's deputy shot and killed a 23-year-old outside the main event in Highlands Ranch, completely changing the lives of family and friends who loved him. Douglas County Sheriff's Deputy Nicholas Moore shot and killed Jalin Seabron on February 8th outside the entertainment complex. After months of reviewing evidence and interviewing witnesses, 23rd Judicial District Attorney George Brockler found the use of deadly force justified.
One of the questions that's asked by the law is, why not less lethal? There's got to be a reason why not less lethal. And the reason Deputy Moore says he did not consider less lethal in the situation was because it was an active shooter situation. He engaged a suspect that was holding a firearm, and he was the only law enforcement officer at the time in the area.
We're joined by 9 News legal analyst Whitney Traylor to discuss how the DA came to that decision that ultimately, the deputy acted according to the law of Colorado when he fired his gun 9 times. I know you watched that news conference from start to finish. What was kind of your takeaway? Were you surprised by the decision?
No, I don't think I was surprised by the decision. And I watched the press conference, and I also read the report from the critical incident response team, which led DA Brockler to ultimately make his decision. And he put together a 17-page letter to the Douglas County Sheriff indicating why there were no charges. And so based on that information, I'm not surprised. And as George Brockler just said there, based on the facts that the officer had at the time, it was an active shooter situation. There were a number of 911 calls saying there's shots coming from the front. He showed up there, and the one person, Jalin Seabron, with the weapon is who he engaged. And so based on those factors, it was, according to DA Brockler, it was reasonably objective for that officer to act in that way. I did have some questions as to why there had to be so many shots. It was 9 shots, 6 of which I think struck him in the side and in the back. And at that point, if they believe there's an imminent threat to himself or others, they have to do what's reasonably necessary to eliminate the threat. And the shots were for about 3 to 4 seconds. And so it happened very quickly. We have the benefit of looking at the video, being able to watch it in slow motion and really dissect and analyze it. The officer doesn't have that ability. So whether it was right or wrong, or we agree with it or not, the DA's decision, I do understand, and it was, according to him, objectively reasonable. And of course, he has to say, was there a crime committed, and am I likely to get a conviction at trial? And based on those questions and these facts, he concluded no.
Yeah, and during that press conference, there was a lot of discussion, too, about the knowledge base at that time, what Deputy Moore did and did not know at that time. But I do want to move on and talk about the community, because, any sort of shooting death like this, officer involved is going to affect the community deeply.
Yes.
And so what is your kind of response? What would you tell them? I guess let's reach out to the community members who are concerned, who still feel like they're fighting for justice for this 23-year-old.
Yes.
What would you say to them?
It's understandable. It's completely understandable for the community to be upset, to have questions, to really protest this. In this day and age, we've seen so many excessive force cases, not necessarily with Douglas County, but with the police in general. And honestly, it is the people power that's actually making change. And I'll point to the police accountability law in Colorado, which has been significant. It is really difficult to go after police officers for excessive force because of qualified immunity and a number of other things. But because of the protest after George Floyd and, of course, Elijah McClain, we have a change in our law. And I think Colorado, where it did away essentially with qualified immunity, and that has been a significant and relevant change in the law here in Colorado. So I would say the frustration, certainly the family, I can't even imagine what they're going through to see this happen and to see essentially someone innocent being gunned down. There's no speaking to that pain other than continue to move forward, and hopefully we make progress. And I'll say about the Douglas County Sheriff, it seems that they're really taking this serious. I think they've met with the family. They're willing to meet with the community. So in this regard, I think Douglas County is showing up better than I think other departments have shown up.
That's an interesting perspective. Before we let you go, we have under a minute, but I do want to kind of speak to what happens next. We already know the family's attorney is going to pursue this civilly. But what does that mean? What charges specifically in this case would they be looking at pressing?
Right. And I would expect a civil lawsuit, and I think there's merit to that. Of course, it's going to be a long, drawn-out process, but here they would have they may have a federal claim, a 1983 claim for excessive force, and then, of course, our new Colorado law dealing with the police accountability, they'll pursue that as well. So there will be claims. I don't know if the lawsuit has been filed, but I would be shocked if there wasn't one. And the burden of proof is different. And of course, in the criminal case, it's going to be beyond a reasonable doubt. Here in the civil case, it's going to be either a preponderance of the evidence or clear and convincing. So we'll look forward to that, to hear about that civil lawsuit in the future.
Yep. These things are just so nuanced and they affect so many people, and so I think they warrant discussions like this. And for you to add your expertise, we appreciate it, your perspective. Whitney Traylor, thank you.